All right, it's the end of August. Little garden update. There is one of my acorn squashes. I've planted both acorn and butternuts, and as you can see, they're doing quite well. So being the end of August, and there's two little babies, or three little babies at the end of this. Jeez, I'm gonna snip that off because it's probably got, what, 6 weeks before the first frost, and that'll just that'll wipe it out. So I'd rather it focus on finishing off the squash that's on the vine rather than develop new ones. There's some butternuts. I think I've got, in this area, or in this garden, I've got 2 there, probably about 6, probably about 8 plants. Probably get about 3 squash per plant is what I predict. There is a beautiful butternut and the smaller one. Hoping the mice don't get into them too much. My leeks are doing okay, a little smaller than I was hoping. This was onions. I pulled those out and planted some zucchini. That's patty pan zucchini, so not quite flowering yet, but probably in the next week or so. This is my row of brassicas under the netting. The insect netting has kept the cabbage moths at bay, which is great. I had it off for about an hour once, and the cabbage moth got in there and had cabbage worms all over. It was just unreal. 1 hour of being exposed, and the cabbage moths took advantage. So the one thing I haven't seen, this is a cauliflower, or any heads of cauliflower forming, and I noticed that for my spring brassicas is it took forever for them to start forming flower heads, I guess is what we eat, not fruit, but it took forever. When it finally happened, it happened quick. So hoping for the same with the fall ones. The tall ones have been in the ground since the middle of July. Planted probably the beginning of June. I bought them as starts and left them inside and transplanted them out. The smaller ones back there are mainly broccoli, and planted those inside on June 15th and in the garden now about 3 weeks. So they were probably 3 weeks inside starting, and then it's been 3 weeks in the ground. There I've got some new lettuce coming up, and that would be the 4th planting of lettuce that I've had, or the 3rd on this part here, and up top where I had a little greenhouse dome over it, I started in April. That would be the 4th succession of lettuce. I've got 6 plants of Swiss chard, and that's a perfect amount, just enough to feast on. Probably couldn't have gotten away with 5, but I'd rather be looking at it than looking for it. Now I've got 2 acorn squash planted here. I think it's actually 1 acorn and 1 butternut. And as you can see, they've vined all over the place. And last count, there's about 10 squash on this go back there that I've been able to find. My sweet potatoes and straw bales, TBA, hopefully they're doing well. They look well. My Italian Abruzzo tomatoes, or the grandma throwing tomato, affectionately known as, it's doing well. Got up to about 9 feet tall. I've snipped all my tomatoes back because I think they're done producing fruit that will ripen. So I'd rather focus on fruit that's on the plant rather than focus on new flowers and new fruit. So it's doing well. And this is interesting. This kind of climbed up, fell over. I didn't want to remove it because it's doing okay. It'll be here when the tomato goes, and I've secured it so it's not impacting, it's not weighing down the tomato. And you can see I've got some small fruit there. And again, I'm going to be snipping this off because I don't think any of these, that one maybe, but I can't see new fruit finishing by the end of the summer. Oh good. Here's a tomato that's starting to blush. And this is a hybrid. It was supposed to be one of those, the pear shape that Grandma throwing, but came out as something different, and it's really cool because it ripened 2 weeks early, 2 weeks earlier than any other, and it had a fantastic taste, I have to admit. So I'm saving seeds. I'm going to be growing these out next year. This is a pink Brandywine, and it has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. Another pink Brandywine. Don't have any blushing. We had some cold weather, and I hope it didn't stop everything, but we shall see. I have a bell pepper, and the significant thing about that is it's one of the only bell pepper that grew up as a bell pepper. Most of the other ones from the seed that I got came out as hot banana peppers, and that was not supposed to be, that's not what I bought, but they didn't go to waste, and they were just okay, but you know, and I got one. Yippee. So it may be a function of where I planted it, and planting stuck too close together, but you know, it was the last one after 2 years out of the package, and I probably grew 40 plants, and they all suck, so I want to throw it somewhere. Here are the dwarf tomatoes, and I got a bunch that are just starting to blush. I'm very happy about that. They should be ready in a few days, and it's a Rosella purple. I've got 3 more squash here, butternut and acorn. And as you can see, we got a bunch of ones that are forming okay. Not a great year for cucumbers. Now, I think this is going to be the last one that I get off of these plants. Not a good year, and they never held on to the trellis I bought, and that had never happened before. Usually this trellis has been phenomenal. So I don't know, every year's a bit of an experiment. But there you go.